Hello, my Glubonauts! Ready for another world adventure? Did you know McDonald's gives away more toys every year than many actual toy brands? Today, we're opening the Happy Meal from the inside. Who designs those toys, where they're made, what they cost, the controversies behind them, and why before 2025, these toys will never be the same. Stick around till the end, because I'll bring back some legendary collections, and I want you to tell me which one was your favorite. First, the big question. Who invents these mini surprises? Behind each one, there are entire teams of toy designers, engineers, and child play specialists asking a single question. What makes a kid smile in 5 seconds? They sketch, prototype, and pressure test fast. If the toy is under a license, Disney, Marvel, Pokémon, and a long list, they have to match brand colors, proportions, and the character's personality. The golden rule is simple: fun, safety, and cost. It needs to look great, be safe for little kids, and most importantly, be producible by the millions without breaking the budget. Unlike a traditional toy company, the clock here runs faster. Each Happy Meal campaign lasts weeks, not years. So they prototype, test, tweak, and then it's off to the factory. Last-minute changes to strengthen a joint, reduce a cost, or improve a snap fit are totally normal. And even though the toy is small, the challenge is huge. Millions of identical units, all working the same, all passing safety checks. Where are they made? Mostly in Asia, with industrial chains capable of producing and assembling at dizzying speed. The most common process is injection molding. Melted plastic goes into a steel mold, cools, pops out, then gets painted. There's automated painting, but also a lot of hand finishing for details. Then assembly. Clicks, tiny screws, simple springs, sometimes a basic LED or sound. After that, individual packaging with a little insert, and ready to travel. Let's talk materials. For years, plastic was king. Polymers like PP or ABS cheap, light, colorful. There were also plush toys with plastic pellet filling and, now and then, small electronic bits. The cost per unit? Very low. That's the trick that makes the toy work as marketing. A tiny investment that brings entire families through the door. Even so, every model goes through safety tests. Edges, small parts, strength, chemical limits. When something fails, everything stops and it gets pulled back. I'll tell you about a few of those in a moment. But making it isn't enough. You have to place the toy in a kid's hand in the exact week. That's where logistics comes in. Imagine containers leaving Asia, crossing oceans, landing in regional warehouses, and then heading out to restaurants in the US and Latin America. Each promotion is synchronized with movie releases and campaign calendars. In practice, stores receive cases with a weekly assortment that rotates. That's why sometimes you didn't get the one you wanted. Distribution tries to spread them evenly so the whole collection circulates. Now, the turning point. The eco shift. The global conversation about single-use plastic reached the Happy Meal, too. The response? A drastic reduction in virgin plastic and a move toward recycled, renewable, or certified materials. Paper, cardboard, plant-based bioplastics, and packaging without plastic bags. What will you actually see? More 3D cardboard pop-outs, trading cards, game pieces made from sustainable materials, and designs that rely on cleverness instead of plastic mass. It won't fix the entire world, but it does transform hundreds of millions of surprises every year, and it forces designers and factories to reinvent how they make fun. Before nostalgia, let's talk about the hard side. Recalls and controversies. With millions of units out there, some toys cause problems. Small parts that loosened, magnets that could be dangerous if swallowed, paints with restricted substances, even step-counter wristbands that irritated skin. What happens when that occurs? Delivery stops, customers are notified, and there's a replacement. Lessons learned the hard way that tightened safety testing. There were also public health debates. Some US cities said, if there's a toy, the kid's meal has to meet nutrition standards. That hit the menu directly, more fruit by default, adjusted portions, no sugar drinks as the main option. And yes, there were reports of tough labor conditions at certain supplier factories back in the 90s and 2000s. Today, there are codes of conduct and audits, but social pressure to enforce them remains and should remain. All right, now let's time travel to those memories that smell like fries and happiness. Do you remember the Halloween buckets? The Boo buckets, the orange pumpkin, the white ghost, the green witch. You'd leave the restaurant with your little bucket and boom, you had the perfect trick-or-treat pail. Classic, simple, unforgettable. What about the McNugget Buddies? Those nuggets with faces and costumes: firefighter, rock star, cowgirl. They were literally nuggets with personality. You traded with your friends to complete the set, and 2 weeks later, a new outfit, a new mission. And the craze that broke the internet before the internet? Mini Beanie Babies. Adults lining up to buy a Happy Meal just for the plush. Kids swapping them at recess. Sets that are worth real money today if they're mint. It was the perfect storm. Cute toys, the thrill of completing a collection, and that only today feeling. There were waves that defined generations: Hot Wheels and Barbie, Tamagotchi, Furby, Space Jam, comic book heroes, animated shows, and, of course, Pokémon Day. Every decade has its treasure list. When a big anniversary rolled around, McDonald's reissued classics in a surprise Happy Meal, a flood of nostalgia. More recently, the Happy Meal for adults tapped straight into the memory of those who grew up with these characters. The figures vanished, literally flew off the shelves. Let's circle back to the question that opened this video. How are McDonald's toys made? They're made with professional creativity, large-scale industrial processes, and a global supply chain that hits the exact week. They're made under increasingly strict safety standards and, now, with a new challenge, sustainable materials that demand inventing new ways to play. They're also made amid debates and responsibilities: public health, environmental impact, labor conditions. And in the end, they're made to create that micro moment we all know: opening the box and smiling. Since we're in curiosity mode, let me give you 3 fast facts that change how you see these toys. 1. The surprise isn't random. Creative teams actually test micro moments of reaction. If a prototype doesn't spark a smile in seconds, it goes back to the drawing board. 2. Scale changes everything. A tiny improvement in a clip or in packaging can save tons of material when you multiply it by millions. That's why today, the first move is to reduce and simplify before adding parts. 3. The surprise isn't only physical anymore. Some toys include codes or mini digital challenges to extend the play without adding plastic. That physical-digital blend is the new frontier. Now imagine the full cycle with new materials. Designing cardboard to survive shipping bumps. Making sure the die cut is safe. The artwork makes sense across languages. And the assembly is intuitive for a child. Sounds simple, but it takes careful engineering. And yes, the debate is still open. Can a toy be fun, safe, and sustainable at the same time? I think so, and we're watching that transition in real time. What happens with the Happy Meal will likely become the standard for many other kids' promotions in the next few years. So here are 2 takeaways to leave you with more than nostalgia. First, the next time you see a Happy Meal toy, think about everything behind it: the sketch, the mold, the testing, the ship, the truck, the case, the hand that drops it onto your tray. Second, ask yourself whether the new design made of paper, cardboard, or bioplastic feels just as fun. Spoiler: when the idea is clever, the material matters less than you think. Now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite Happy Meal toy? Were you Team Boo Bucket, Team McNugget Buddy, or did you fall in love with a Hot Wheels, a Barbie, or that Beanie Baby you still keep? Drop it in the comments. I'll pin the most epic answers, and if this video gets good support, I'll put together a ranking of the 10 most iconic collections and the stories behind each one. If you enjoyed understanding the how behind something so everyday, subscribe and ring the bell. Here we tell real stories about products and brands you use all the time. No fluff, just insights worth your time. Thanks for making it to the end. And I'll see you in the next one, with another box maybe less happy for the brands, but way cooler for us.